Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Live at the Waterhole. My name is Kerry Dupree, and I will be joining you today to check out all of our waterholes with the Africam cameras all over Africa. And we have started today with a monitor lizard. So, yeah, beautiful view of this little monitor lizard here. He looked like earlier, if anyone was following the cameras, this monitor looked like he was chomping away on something. So, yeah, we're just waiting to see. Maybe there's some activity, maybe some movement, or maybe he's simply exhausted after his breakfast or midday snack and just gonna lie in the sun here and let us enjoy watching him. What a cool way to start the show today. So, just a reminder that this is a live and interactive show. So, please feel free to send through those questions and comments. Join in the conversation. Keep me company. And yeah, so you can either scan the QR code on screen now or head over to Twitter or X. And don't forget to use the hashtag at Wild Earth to join in the conversation. Who is watching the show with us today? I'd love to know which of the viewers are with us. How is the weather wherever you are watching from today? I am sitting in sunny Johannesburg today, although the weather is quite strange, I must say. The sun is out. It is an artificial sunny day because there's a bit of a chill in the air. I'm sure at King's Camp here in Timbavati, the temperatures look quite warm today. I don't think they have as much cold weather around. I'm sure some cold weather is definitely due in the Gauteng province of South Africa. I know they've been experiencing a lot of rains still in Durban, as well as the Eastern Cape. So, yeah, this little monitor lizard is having a great time. So, it's one of the largest of the lizard species within Africa. And yeah, you can see as they get older, so when they're young, I love it when these monitor lizards are small because they are black and yellow, bright yellow. And kind of the older they get, the more mature they get, the kind of yellow turns a bit more white. So they can measure anything from about 2 to 3 feet in length, or generally about 1 to 1.5 meters. So it is one of the second largest lizards in the world. So it's one of the largest in Africa, but in the world, it's second largest after the Komodo dragon. I don't know if anyone has ever seen a Komodo dragon, but those things scare me. They can hunt antelope, those Komodo dragons. Crazy lizard. Imagine a lizard hunting an antelope. So what they do is they stalk up onto a small antelope and give it a very nasty bite on the foot somewhere. And they actually have a very toxic venom in their mouth, or even their saliva is just very toxic, and it very slowly starts to cause an infection on this animal that it has bitten. It's a victim, and the Komodo dragon will then track its prey for sometimes up to a day in order to make the kill. So yeah, they track their prey, wait for their prey to slowly get infected with this nasty bacteria and venom, and yeah, then they actually feed on small antelope. Pretty crazy. Komodo dragons on Komodo Island. These are semi-aquatic species, these monitor lizards. Generally, you find them near water, but I have seen them moving quite vast distances from one water source to the other. A smaller monitor lizard like this, they cause havoc on the bird species or waterfowl species that nest near water areas. So they love to feed on eggs. They are master egg hunters. And of course, any waterfowl that are nesting close to the water's edge, they would raid the nest. So, like for example, we had the blacksmith plovers that were nesting recently. These monitor lizards would definitely go after some small birds, ground nesting birds, eggs, small mammals, and as we mentioned earlier, they do also feed on carrion as well as crustaceans. He's got his eyes closed there. female monitor lizard can lay anything between 20 to 30 eggs, which she creates a bit of a burrow and lays the eggs with inside the burrow, or even at times a little decaying log should suffice. And it takes the eggs between 7 to 10 months to hatch. That's a very long time for a monitor lizard's eggs to hatch, I think. Shucks, that's crazy. And this time they do guard the eggs quite well, make sure they don't get eaten by any other predators. Juna, lizards are rather fascinating creatures, aren't they? Interesting how they all have different colors and blend into different kinds of environments. I mean, check out this monitor lizard. Check out those claws. He's got a really sharp pair of claws on him, and that bite of theirs. They don't have the sharpest teeth, these monitor lizards, but I do tell you, once they cling on to you, they do not let go. So if you ever do see a baby monitor lizard, as with most things in nature, it's best never to disturb them or touch them. But if you make the mistake of trying to pick up one of these little monitor lizards when they're small, be prepared to have it attach itself to your finger and cause a lot of pain. Check out those claws. Perfect for digging and scratching in nests. Shucks, check at this. It's got a little fly or an ant of some sort just roaming up and down. You can see him breathing. Just watching this lizard. Check at him. Hello, guy. You can see the ear hole openings here just behind his eye. So that's actually where the ears are. And it's actually like a flap that closes when he goes into the water to prevent water from getting into his eardrum there. He's not too fazed by all these ants moving around. Yeah, so those claws, I would not want to challenge this monitor lizard. Those claws can also inflict quite a lot of damage. And of course, another defense mechanism that they have is those very powerful tails of theirs. So I've seen on the show on Wild Earth, actually, when I think it was a young baby leopard was trying to attack a little monitor lizard. And every time this little leopard got close to the monitor lizard, he got a nasty flick right in his nose with his tail, and that actually helped the monitor lizard to escape. Look at those eyes. So that to me sounds like a distress or alarm call of the blacksmith plovers. So they might have detected that this monitor lizard is in the area. And if they have chicks or a nest close by, they were nesting like last month. Their chicks should be big by now. But yeah, if they see this monitor lizard, they'll definitely dive bomb him, try and chase him away from their little chicks or their nest. Isn't this so cool watching this monitor lizard? Have a look at his very unusual skin. Reptiles have such strange skin to me. Ooh, sounds like we might have something at the waterhole. Wonder if that is an elephant or something that's arrived at the watering hole. There's a go-away bird in the background too. Have a listen. Just admiring this incredible monitor lizard here. So Penelope Kenyon, I agree with you there. Those scales on that beautiful monitor lizard do look like Zulu beads. Hello, Mr. Elephant. So see how silently this elephant has managed to sneak into this watering hole. I only heard the last few steps that he made just before getting to the water. Then you heard the very characteristic sucking or slurping up of water that elephants make with their trunk. Oops. Hello, big guy. So that's what we do always as guides, have to be very careful when you're out in the bush and you're looking at something very small on a trail or distracted by something, that you always pay attention to what else is around you. Because, for example, we might have been on a walking safari this morning, checking out this monitor lizard, and without paying any attention to anything around us, check how quietly this elephant bull managed to sneak up on us this morning. This afternoon. Hello, good guy. Let's listen to the sound of him drinking, shall we? Just so amazing to be able to sit here and watch this elephant drinking, listen to the amazing sounds that he makes. Alrighty, folks. Well, we're going to leave our friendly elephant here to carry on his morning. Why don't we do the same thing and go over to Founder's Lodge and see what's waiting for us there? So it looks like another very cloudy and windy day over in Founders. Yesterday, the weather was also rather windy here. And we've got a male giraffe. Apparently, there were two giraffe here earlier having a little bit of a sparring session or necking. So, yeah, maybe we just missed the activity, or maybe if we're lucky, the male might come back and Hello, everyone. Sorry we had some minor technical difficulties, but I am back with you live at the waterhole here, and we are now in Okukuyu over in Namibia. You can hear those Christmas beetles chiming away, or the cicadas. You have a good listen. Cicadas are there. We've also got some springbok. I've come down to the watering hole today. I love seeing the springbok and the oryx or gemsbok in this pan. They really get in there, go all the way in, have a nice dip. I don't blame them. Trying to cool off after a hot day. And also sounds like we had some little grebes or calling just now. A little grebe, how cute. So just a bit of an update, folks, from our safaris. Looks like Mabula has been having a really good luck with all their sightings. It's so awesome to see some cool sightings on Mabula with Trishala and Cameron. I am definitely following all their sightings. Awesome to see some nice sable that they got recently, and also a jackal with a little pup. How cool is that? You don't often see jackal carrying around a little pup, possibly moving the pup from one den to the next. But yeah, pretty epic sighting. So today was quite an exciting day on the live safaris. Amy and Paul also got to be part of a very awesome experience in a Blue Canyon private game reserve. They helped with a rhino dehorning this morning, which sounded very exciting. I can see on all the socials everywhere, everyone is posting about the rhino dehorning that Amy got to film this morning. So very, very exciting. So tough that Amy could be a part of that. Yeah, very, very exciting to see the rhino dehorning on live on Wild Earth. How awesome is it that we could be able to share that amazing experience with our viewers back at home? If you have no idea how rhino dehorning works, then I definitely recommend going and checking out our videos from this morning's sunrise safari. Really, really amazing experience to share with our viewers, and also an experience that you could experience yourself as well with Amy at Mabula next year. She has got a safari that you can join in if you head over to the Wild Earth travel page and have a look. See, spots are still available. I think there are still a few spots available, but they will definitely go quickly. And a rhino dehorning is something that you could actually be a part of yourself as well if you join Amy Kranz on her Mabula Safari next year. So go check out the Wild Earth travel page to see all the information and details for that safari. How epic! How epic! So today is also a special day. It is International Coffee Day today. I don't know if any of our viewers or anyone knew that today is actually International Coffee Day. It's been kind of declared since March 2014 as the Day of International Coffee, mainly by the big coffee organizations. Started in the United States and slowly has made its way through to other countries, including South Africa. And yeah, it's just a great day where we can all celebrate the it's a passion. I would say coffee is a passion for some people. Love, passion, hobby. I love having coffee with friends and people. It just brings people together, and yeah, it's always a nice way to share the morning, afternoon, any time of the day. Have a little coffee date or meet up with friends and have coffee. So happy International Coffee Day, everybody. I hope that you all have a great coffee day. And I know there are some representatives from Jacob's Coffee here in South Africa that are at some of the roadblocks and intersections handing out free coffee sachets. So if you haven't been out and about, maybe find out where these coffee people are. Go grab some coffee. I got some free coffee sachets, which was absolutely great way to start the day on International Coffee Day. I'd love to know how our viewers love to have their coffee. Alrighty, folks, why don't we head back across to Founders Lodge and see if our giraffe are still giving each other a hard time. folks. So it looks like two males that are necking each other, sparring a bit. So let's watch and see if you can listen. Let's try and see if we can hear the sound of them thrashing each other with their necks. Sometimes you can actually hear the impact, the loud sound of the crashing of their heads. Typical stance here. So it's quite typical of males when they're fighting like this. So if you're ever on a game drive and you do see two males standing in this pose, kind of head to bottom, I would definitely give the chance to stay around for a bit, because they can neck and fight like this sometimes for hours on end, trying to tire out their opponents. I'd definitely take the time. Whoa. See what they're trying to do. They're trying to use that very formidable head of theirs to either grab the back leg or cause and inflict as much damage as they can on the rump of their opponent or on the shoulder. Seem to be standing in quite an awkward position. They can't quite, they stand close enough together. They can't quite get enough of a decent angle on their opponent, but you can see the male in the background. He's definitely a lot bigger. I would put my money on him. Definitely looks a lot more large in size, a lot more intimidating. So while we were at Mabula, it was surely had a lot of fight club action going on in Mabula. Shucks, at some stage it just felt like every other animal or bird we found were fighting with one another. Can be the breeding, mating season, kind of males, territorial, sparring, looking for one another. Pretty epic there. But really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with these giraffe. So they'll go on like this, like I said, for hours on end, until one either gives up or kind of starts to become more submissive and walks away. And it's all to kind of win the affection of the females. So Kendall, good question there about how long can a fight like this between males last. So generally it can last hours, but I do know that some people who did watch giraffe most of the day, two males, it was two very big males that were kind of fighting with one another, and neither of them wanted to give up or give in. So they'd kind of fight for a few minutes at a time and then kind of have a bit of a standoff and then come close together and start fighting, and that lasted the whole day. So generally it can last anything from a couple of hours to the whole day. It's pretty crazy. Giraffe have an immense amount of patience. Alright, folks. Well, these giraffe look like they could be standing off here for quite some time. So let's head over to Aldonio and see what has come down to the waterhole. Wow, we got quite a lot of activity here today. Hello, baboons. Always nice to see baboons on the show. And Impala, male Impala, giving us his view of his best side. And a young oryx, male oryx, that looks like he's also giving us a bit of a stare, death stare. It's nice to see baboons here. I haven't often heard baboons over in Aldonio, but I don't hear them that much. You can see the baboons here very fluffy, much fluffier than that I'm used to. The baboons I'm used to. Obviously, it's in case if they go up into the mountains, that fur helps to keep them nice and warm. So awesome to see a diversity of animal species all here. Amazing when there's no elephants around, all of a sudden the diversity of wildlife coming through. And isn't this little baby impala so cute? So he's probably a yearling, probably born last year, December or January. Sorry, folks. Looks like we had some challenges with our feed there in Aldonio. So we're back here in Founders Lodge looking for our giraffe, our fighting male giraffe, trying to see if they're around still. What's happening with them? Yep, looks like another very strangely cloudy day here in the Eastern Cape. I must say, I'm looking forward. I'll be heading over to Zimbabwe tomorrow, also tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to some hot weather because this weather in Johannesburg is rather strange. It's almost like taunting. It's like the sun is teasing you to come out, but the minute you open that door, this ghastly gust of very cold air comes in, and oh, it is chilly, I must say, just like it looks rather cold in the Eastern Cape. Perfect coffee weather. So I'd love to know what some of our viewers' favorite treat is to have with your coffee. So because it was International Coffee Day today, I had to have a cappuccino with a piece of carrot cake. Oh, that made my day. Or a croissant would be great. So please send through. I'd love to know what your favorite little treat or delight is to have with your coffee on a special day like today. Or I think because it's coffee day, we are obligated to go out and have a coffee somewhere. So please let me know what you would love to drink, what cappuccino, what kind of coffee, and what treat you like to drink with your coffee. Alrighty, let's give Aldonio another bash, folks. See if we can get the feed to be a bit stable there. So let's head over to Aldonio and check out our baboon friends. I don't know about you folks, but I can watch baboons all day. I must say, baboons are very much a saving grace for a lot of guides. On those days when you don't see too much else, baboons can definitely bring you a lot of entertainment for hours on end. These are the chakma baboons, and a troop of chakma baboons can be anything between 20 to 40, 50 individuals for a big troop. And yeah, for a big troop like that, you might have a couple of big males, just like this big boy that's just walked off here. And shucks, I must say, they've got rather strange looking bottoms, these baboons here in Kenya. Maybe it's because of all the very hot rocks that they have to sit on. Now look at these two youngsters giving each other a little bit of a groom. A bit of sibling love. The young baboons are quite mischief little creatures, and they do make quite a racket when they get caught doing something they probably shouldn't be doing. Oh, and our oryx friend is still around. Must be a sub-adult. His horns aren't as long as some of the other oryx I've seen before. Hey guys. Love how these baboons, like the one on the right hand side, kind of sit up on a rock, looking very important and official. Bundu, thank you for your comment about what you love to drink with coffee. So your Omar's rusks or Omar's biscuits are a standard in my house. It's like an anytime meal. I prefer there's a seeded one or yeah, mixed seed and oh, they're very good. Good Morning Biscuits also has a great rusk too with lots of dried fruits, berries, and nuts. And then, of course, Baker's Man has just released a, what is it? It's like a coconut, limited edition coconut rusk, which is also great. Thank you for sending through your little treat that you like to have with your coffee. So Mindy, thank you for your question there. Mindy is asking about baboons' tails and what the purpose of their tails is. So baboons, unlike other primates, actually have a tail that has a bit of an arc to it. Of course, in all primates, their tails form the sole purpose of balance. So it's very important for when they're balancing, when moving on trees and climbing around. But also with baboons, the second purpose of the tail is it can be a form of dominance in the males. And then in the females, the little baby baboon also sits on their mother's back quite a lot. And that tail can also help form a little bit of a backrest or support for the baby baboon sitting on their mother's back. So yeah, next time you see a troop of baboons, have a look for the females, see if you can see any females with little babies, and you'll often see them sitting on the back of a baboon using the tail as a little bit of a backrest for support, which is really cute to see. So Gina from the UK loves to have her coffee very milky with chocolate caramel shortbread. Oh, that does sound delightful, I must say. I know it's very much part of the French cuisine to have either obviously pain chocolat or real bread, toast with like Nutella or chocolate paste on there, and then they actually dunk it into their coffee, which I must say I never got quite used to when I was living in West Africa. Or even their croissants. I know they often dip their chocolate croissants also into their coffee, which I never quite got used to that, but I do like my pain chocolat and chocolate croissants. Also a very nice little treat. Or you get the almond croissant that's kind of got a nice thick layer of almond like gooey stuff inside, which are the perfect things that baboons and vervet monkeys in camp. They love to get the chance to help themselves to the breakfast buffet. And what they do is they'll jump down onto the breakfast buffet, shove as much as they can into their mouth, and then grab what they can under their arms, and off they go. Hey, like this baboon, I'm sure he would love to eat a chocolate croissant today. See, he's kind of feeding, looking for little bits and pieces of whatever he can find. So baboons are omnivorous. So in times of drought or in hardships when there's not too much food around, baboons do also feed on meat. A big male baboon, yeah, they will hunt the small antelope if they get a chance, or if baboons, even a youngster like this, finds some ground nesting birds, he will also feed on the eggs and the chicks from those nests. So Wanda, thank you for your question. Wanda is asking if I would be open to guiding in countries outside of Africa. And yes, most definitely, Wanda, I would love to guide outside of Africa. I would love to guide in Brazil, go into the forests and do some tours for some birding. I'd love to go and bird for some of those birds of paradise during the breeding season when they're all in breeding plumage. I would also love to obviously go and see those the Pantanal, those pumas in the Pantanal hunting the um, crocodiles there. That would be pretty epic, I must admit. I know a lot of people are crazy about the bears in Iceland, and I don't like the cold so much. Northern Lights would be pretty cool to do that. I know a lot of guides go and do kind of like the bears and the Northern Lights, so I wouldn't mind. But yeah, don't do so well in the cold. So I would love to more focus on the forest and the jungles of South America. It would be pretty epic to go and do some horseback safaris in South America in the mountains. Oh, shame! Check out this baboon. This male baboon's missing part of his tail. So yeah, he can. Sometimes what happens with baboons is while fighting, they can one either get their tails bitten off while in a fight with another big male. And there's some very big males here, I must say. Um, or two, they can also, when being hunted by predators, they can get their tails kind of broken off if they got into a fight with a leopard. Leopard will definitely easily break off the tail of a baboon. So Cobra, good question about what makes these baboons' bottoms so red. So obviously the females do have quite big red bottoms, especially when they are kind of, oof, looks like this female impala is quite pregnant. So yeah, female baboon, when she is kind of in season and ready for mating, she will have a very big swollen bottom, which does attract the males and helps the males to differentiate that she is ready for mating. But the males, I'm not too sure why those males have red bottoms. I'm guessing it might be because they've probably been sitting on too many hot rocks. And those rocks are quite hot. And in the mountains, lots of um, mountains in this area. So I believe we can actually, on a day that it's not too cloudy, you can actually see Kilimanjaro from this camera here in Oldonyo. And I'm sure these baboons spend a lot of time in those mountains. Jim, you can see this impala has a lot of ticks. Oop. Looks like the oryx just gave the baboons a bit of a chase. So thank you for your question. Spas Inkov is asking about if baboons are water dependent. So baboons are not as water dependent as their smaller cousins, like the vervet monkeys, for example. Baboons only really need to be able to drink at least once a day, if possible, preferably twice a day. If that's all what the kind of up to the males, the big male baboons, when they are scouting new areas. So what will happen is if a water source dries out in a baboon's home range, then there will be at least two to sometimes four big males that will go and scout new areas for food and for water. Because they do need to have water within their home range to at least be able to drink once a day, especially for the mothers with little babies don't want to get dehydrated. So these scouts will go and look in new areas for water and food. And then if they do find another area where there's more water availability, that's when they will then relocate to that new area. And of course, they need to have a very good roosting tree in order to be safe at night. Oryx is not fond of his baboons being at the watering hole. Awesome, awesome, folks. So we've just had some elephants arriving at Ukukuyu here in Namibia. I'm praying that they will have a pool party. So we've got one taker for having a nice swim. So I'm hoping that he'll encourage the other elephants to also come and join him for a pool party. Also got some Egyptian geese in the watering hole there, swimming around. They seem to be resident here, and I think we have a herd of wildebeest that have already left the watering hole. Isn't it so relaxing watching these elephants? And some elephants are going into the water, so it looks like we could have an elephant pool party on our hands. So Darren, thank you for your question about when elephants break down trees, do they cause habitat loss for some species? Yeah, it looks like pretty much, yeah, unfortunately, elephant impact can cause quite a negative effect on a lot of species and reduce the amount of food that is available for other species like giraffe, for example, and your other browsers. But when they do break these trees down, it does also, yeah, does also create food as well. So sometimes when they push these trees down, it does cause coppicing of the tree. So the tree doesn't always die when an elephant pushes it over. Sometimes it continues to grow, and that also provides food for other species. It's just a lovely breeding herd of elephants. So lovely to watch them and the little ones having a great time on the water. Pat Haggett, thank you for your comment. Yeah, all the little baby elephants sure are ready for the spring dry season. They're all looking like they are still in great condition, which is a very good sign, considering it doesn't look like there's much food around for a lot of the animals this year. A lot of areas are experiencing a drought in Africa this year, as with most years. It's kind of in some areas has a cycle of between every 4 to 5 years seems to be a decent rainfall, and then a few years of poor rainfall. So yeah, this year a lot of regions did not experience enough rainfall. I think in Namibia, someone told me while I was visiting Okukuyu, they only received under oh, there's a loud bird calling. They received under 300 mils of rain in Namibia for the whole of the last rainy season, which is crazy. I mean, I've experienced 350 mils of rain in West Africa in 24 hours, let alone, oh, sorry, 48 hours, let alone 300 mils of rain in a whole season. So it's very good to see the elephants are still looking healthy, looking like they're in good condition. Of course, it's awesome to see these elephants playing in the water. In dry areas like this in Namibia, elephants will generally come down to the watering hole, if possible, at least once a day and sometimes twice a day. So that's kind of what predicts their movement. These elephants is they will often yeah, move from one watering hole to the next. The blacksmith plovers calling, and also our little grebe must be somewhere in the pan. Now our pied crows, I'm sorry, Cape crows calling. So this little baby elephant on the left here is actually suckling from its mother. Oh, we've got some impala also joining us at the watering hole. It's amazing these antelope blend into the environment so well here. So Brendan, thank you for your question there about African and Asian elephants. So obviously, they are quite different, African and Asian elephants, besides obviously their distribution. Um, they occur in very different areas. They have kind of different food that they feed on too. And obviously, the ear shape of the African elephant is much bigger. So they often say that the shape of an African elephant looks like the shape of Africa, whereas an Indian elephant has much smaller ears and also obviously a bit of a smaller head, different shape. And it's quite interesting. Indian elephants are also more prone to having a lot of light coloration of their skin, so kind of discolored skin or pink patches on their forehead and trunks, which is also a feature that you do get in forest elephants as well, not as prominent as in most Indian elephants, but yeah, I have seen forest elephants with pink trunks, which is quite a crazy sighting. It's amazing how quickly these elephants can clear out of this watering hole. So I've had on a few occasions probably 50 to 60 elephants at this watering hole. And then once they all finish drinking, the kind of matriarchs all take off in their different directions. So this could be a few different herds that are all here together. And then they all take off in their separate directions and poof, like that. You would never expect that there were elephants. So many elephants here. Very windy in Kikuyu, Namibia today, but this is also a great place to have an ice cream, I must say. When I was at Ukukuyu, it was rather hot and it was only in April, so I'm guessing the temperatures are going to be blistering over here in Namibia. So it's a lovely view to sit and have a nice cold ice cream while watching the elephants. All right, folks, why don't we head across to Tembe and see what we can find at Tembe Elephant Park? Looks like we've got another herd of impala over here at Tembe. Nice afternoon. It must be a little bit windy. You can see one of the female impalas lying down here on the left. And of course, you've got lots of ripples in the little pan. So nice cold afternoon. Nice chilly afternoon. Ooh, we better be careful. This is a perfect place for lions to come down. I believe they do have a few prides of lions here in Tembe Elephant Park. And this spot where the giraffe is sitting right, where these impala are feeding right here, is actually where I've seen lions coming down to this pan to have a drink. We have our southern masked weavers that have been busy building their nests in this beautiful tree down by the pan here. So you can see they're not so vocal right now, but yesterday, shucks, when we came over to Timber, we could barely even hear. They were crazy. So when the males are busy building their nest, they do vocalize quite a lot in order to attract the females. I have seen you can see kind of two males in here. They'll strip the palm, so that's what they use as the materials to build these nests of theirs. So it's a bit of a kind of, yeah, a ball-shaped nest with a very small little tunnel. So yeah, it's quite cool how different birds' nests can help you to identify what species has made that nest. So in theory, if you have been studying enough or been out in the field doing enough exploring and inspecting birds in nest, you should be able to tell the different species of birds by the construction of the nests. So here we have one little male southern masked weaver sitting there. Seems to be a bit quiet. Apparently, some of our zoomies have seen 3 weaver chicks, but I'm not too sure how many weavers are actually around now. So it could be why these weavers have been so vocal and so loud, busy feeding the chicks. So also they're very, very vocal when moving around and kind of coming into the nests. The chicks also make quite a lot of noise. So you can tell the new nest constructions from the old ones. So there's a brand new nest, green one on the right hand side, and then you can see some older nests. So they will always build new nests for the new breeding season, and yeah, that's kind of how you can see which nests are the older nests, possibly from last year. I'm trying to see, is there anything else in this tree? They can really strip a tree, these weavers, and amazing how incredible they are at weaving with that bill of theirs. Sort of a grey spot on this branch over here. Looks like, I thought it was maybe some go-away birds or loweries, grey loweries, but I think it's just the way the shadow of the tree is kind of in there. Perfect place for some loweries though to come and sit up in this tree, the grey go-away birds. Wonder if there's any elephants around the pan. I know yesterday we didn't have any elephants at Tembe yesterday. It was actually rather strange, I must say. Very, very strange not to have elephants. But it was quite a windy day, so I don't blame them. Oh, okay. So I was wondering what this little brown patch is there. Apparently, there's a little fluffy thing inside these two nests, or just under this nest to the left. And apparently, there's a hardy-dar chick inside that nest. I wondered if there was something there, but it's very difficult to see. Sorry, I don't know. Maybe at home, some of our viewers might have got a bit of a better view. But yeah, it looked very suspicious and would be a perfect nesting place for a hardy-dar, so I wouldn't be surprised. How cool is that, little hardy-dar chick? And it's a lovely sunny day here in Tembe. Nice to see some blue skies and some clouds. It was rather windy yesterday afternoon, shucks. I wonder the elephants didn't want to come and get blown away at the watering hole. Looks like our male impalas also kind of having a bit of a lie down, a bit of a rest. Yeah, it's quite common in big open grassland areas when it is a bit cold and windy. You see a lot of the animals or antelope will be lying down. It's quite cool to see. You know that it's cold. We've also got some nyala down at the watering hole. The nyala seem to love this particular part of the pan. I often see them coming down here to drink. It seems to be nice and thick. Just enjoying feeding on the nice lush green vegetation that is down at this pan here. Nice to see so many females looking like they're in great condition. Nyala are beautiful, I must say. They're quite elegant antelope. Wonder if these female nyala have a male with them. Generally find nyalas will always have one male in the group on the herd. Look very busy today. I love their little fluffy tails flicking from side to side. What a lovely view. It's nice to see some greenery as well. Some other locations are looking a little bit dry, so it's really nice to see that these nyala have a lovely green habitat to come and feed at. Wonder if we're going to see any of our African jacanas or any other cool waterfowl. Oh, we've got our grey heron. He's also sitting on a bit of a branch there. Such a beautiful antelope to look at, these nyala. So nyala are from the Tragalophus family, so same family. Beautiful family of antelope with spiraled horns. Obviously, the males are a lot more different in color to the females. I love that contrast. There's very wide sexual dimorphism between the males and females. Obviously, the males have a very dark coloration. I love the male nyalas almost look like they're wearing brown pajama pants and then shabby longs with some light brown tights underneath. Very cool. So this is the perfect habitat for these nyala. They do prefer more mosaic and dense mopani thickets and woodlands. and also do love to hang around pans and scrub-like areas. So they are mostly, obviously, because they hang out in very thick areas, they are browsers, and they do shelter in these areas at night also to evade predators. So the most of the common kind of food species of these nyala, they do love to feed on acacias or the toothbrush tree. They do also actually feed on buffalo thorn, which is quite cool, and the monkey apple. So nyala are quite unique in that or quite special in that they also do love to feed on fruit and fallen flowers. So when I was over at Mabula, so a lot of nyala. Oh, every day they were feeding on those sausage tree red truffle flowers of the sausage tree. Oh, they would come and clean up as soon as the leaves had fallen. There would barely be 2 or 3 fallen leaves, flowers of the sausage tree, and these nyalas would come and clean up all these flowers. So they do also have quite a varied diet, not just feeding on obviously leaves, flowers, fruit, but they do also feed on small legumes as well. And I know the morning glory flowers are very much preferred diet of nyala and kudu as well. The gestation period of these nyala is about 7 months, about 220 to 225 days, and they will keep their little one kind of very concealed and near to them in the first 3 weeks before they actually bring them out to join the rest of the little herd. So it's not such big family groups as with impala, but generally a herd of nyala can be anything from about 3 or 4 individuals to about 7 to 10, and their lifespan is about 14 to 16 years of age. Look at the little black tip on the end of their tail. How cute is that? So we got a question from an Ingo asking about if the females also do a dance to attract the male's attention. So generally, not that I know of, but the male nyala do have a very elaborate mating dance that they do. For me, it's almost like the Michael Jackson moonwalk. So male nyala very rarely actually come into contact with one another, although they do have this very strange and unique mating dance that they'll do. So they practice what's called piloerection. So if 2 males come into contact with one another and are trying to fight for the affection of the females, they will erect all the fur on their body, especially kind of on their neck and the back of their dorsal, so on their spine. They'll erect all that fur will be standing up, and yeah, they kind of like walk like this Michael Jackson moonwalk, very like tense and in circles around each other. And then every now and then one of them might like move to the side, move to the side. So it's very, very cool, like Michael Jackson moonwalking display dance that the males do in order to attract the attention of the female. So yeah, if you'd like to be entertained with the sight of a male Inyala doing his moonwalk, I'd definitely give that a Google on YouTube. There's quite a lot of very cool videos of the male Inyala doing their mating dance. See it quite a lot at Juma, so lots of Nyala in Juma, and yeah, so it's definitely awesome to be able to spend so much time with these Nyala. They're not as common as Impala, for example, and that is because they are quite specific to their habitat. So, yeah, only in specific regions that have their nice thick areas in order for them to, survive in and have a perfect habitat. A very elaborate mating display. One of the most elaborate of all antelope, I think, actually. This is a little youngster. It's probably almost heading on a year or just over a year of age. So starting to become mature, and they generally come into seasons. Females, anything from about 3 to 3.5 years of age, and males generally start to become sexually mature at about 6 to 7 years of age. Just have a bit of a scan, see if we can find anything else at the pan today, at the watering hole here. Now, there's often some jacanas bouncing about. We had a really cool sighting yesterday in this acacia tree just on the left of the camera of our two brown-hooded kingfishers. So really cool to see them both together. And kind of, yeah, the female didn't seem to hang around for too long, but it was lovely to see them sitting close to the camera, showing off their beautiful colors. Impala are busy feeding for the day. So impala are a very good indicator species. So wherever you go and visit, you often find impala are a very common species in most game reserves, and they're very good indicator species in that they help to tell whether the environment is all stable. So if you see healthy impala, you know that the game reserve is healthy because yeah, they you see impala with mange or that are a bit thin or have any like health issues that can indicate that there is possibly yeah, maybe not enough food or not enough water. So yeah, always great to see healthy impala. Female's giving herself a little bit of a scratch. Very graceful and agile antelopes, these impala. And they can be found from East Africa all the way down to Southern Africa. They are very good at jumping impala, so they can leap anything up to 10 meters or up to 30 feet. Shucks, isn't that crazy? Or 3 meters, 10 feet. The little ones. And they can run at speeds of up to 60 kilometers an hour. Isn't that crazy? I guess they do need to be able to run quite fast in order to evade all the predators because, yeah, they are definitely on the menu for a lot of our predators. A perfect size for obviously leopard. So leopard do hunt on impala quite a lot. Cheetah as well, and of course, yeah, lions will always take the chance. And during the breeding season, so normally they drop their calves December, January, and that's when it is a feeding frenzy because even hyena, jackal, everything comes after a little baby impala. Alrighty, folks, why don't we head over to Tau Lodge and see what's happening at Tau? Alrighty. Welcome to Tau Lodge, everybody, in Madikwe. Awesome to see lots of zebra coming down for a drink, as well as the wildebeest. This mud has been getting rather thick, I must say. Yeah, I can see the zebra all getting their feet very muddy. Make sure no more baby zebra get stuck in the mud here. And we haven't had much much luck with our crocodiles the last couple of days. Here we have sure this water is starting to get very minimal, so they probably moved to like the main area, main water source at the kind of on the left hand side. So it's a little bit difficult for us to see from this angle, but yeah, it's been awesome seeing the elephants kind of trudging through the mud here, and we've had lots of water buck also coming through for this lovely green vegetation. Looks like there's lots of flies out today, a lot of zebras swishing their tails, and also lots of pregnant zebra around at the moment. So you can see there's two females here that look quite pregnant, the one on the furthest on the left, and then also the second female on the right. So you can see she's got her youngster that's here. I wonder if that's the one who got stuck in the mud here the other day. But yeah, lots of very pregnant females. Same at Mabola, actually. We did see a lot of very pregnant female zebra over Mabola. Looked like they were about to pop. Shucks. The one female, I thought her stripes almost looked like they were like wavy instead of straight. It's pretty crazy. Oh, getting stuck in the mud. Lots of zebra today, lots of wildebeest. It must be a rather hot day over in Tower Lodge. We haven't seen our shelled ducks for a while, or our spur-winged goose. Maybe they flew over, kind of took off and went to find areas with more water. Look at this little zebra. I wonder if he's going to take a chance. Don't get stuck in the mud, little guy, please. Oh. Looks like he got a huge fright from this blacksmith glover. Oh, we've still got our grey heron is still around. It is busy here today. So you can see all these little passageways and pathways that have been created and opened by the elephants. And yeah, with the big bulls, they don't have much to worry about. They're big and strong enough to manage to get themselves out of this very thick mud. But this is a death trap for any other animals that might come by this way. So I was surprised we had water buck also kind of roaming around on these little islands and banks. And actually, we also had white-faced whistling ducks that were here yesterday. That was pretty cool to see. Obviously, I wonder if they're still around. Oh, grey heron friend. Also hear some rattling. Testicular also calling in the background there. I haven't seen red hartebeest here for some time. I've seen red hartebeest here before. Tower Lodge was pretty cool. Oh, a little bit nervous. They also have to be nervous because, of course, we know the crocodiles are somewhere close by. See, that's why oh, there we go. There's our crocodile. Shucks, nice to see our little crocodile friend. We haven't seen him for some time, so it's a bit difficult for these crocodiles to hunt in this very thick mud, but it's good that the zebra are super cautious because they never know what's lurking and hiding in that water. But nice to see one of the crocodiles. We had an interesting interaction with 3 crocodiles here the other day. At first, I thought it was maybe a mating kind of interaction that was going on between 2 individuals, but then a third one joined. So, yeah, I think possibly it could have been some sort of male. The males could have been a bit of a dominance display between the males. So, pretty cool to see some unusual behavior amongst some of the male crocodiles here at Tau Lodge. Oh, looks like we've also got a kudu that's come down to join. See, there's yeah, some of the um, wildebeest, the young wildebeest are indulging in a bit of an afternoon, bit of a mud wallow. Got a little 3-banded plover there as well. Oh, and the nice young kudu. Beautiful piece of driftwood here, perfect rubbing post for some of our warthog friends. So we also had some warthogs. This is perfect place for warthogs to also come down for a mud bath. Zebra generally are not too fond of mud bathing, so they more prefer a sand bath than actually having a mud bath. Oh, look at this guy having a good dig. He's trying to, obviously wants to have a mud bath, but not in the mud, so he's digging up some mud there. Look at this guy. Oh. So we had a question from Kelly about our mountain zebra smaller than your plain zebra. And yes, a mountain zebra are obviously the big difference is the kind of habitat that they occur in. Mountain zebra are very specialized in the habitat. They only occur in areas of the northwest Cape as well as Namibia. And the mountain zebra obviously is quite a bit smaller than the plain zebra and has a white belly with a little bit longer ears. So yeah, for me it's quite easy to tell the difference between the two. You can definitely tell that white belly, and if you don't see them together, like even with white rhino and black rhino, it can be difficult to differentiate. But definitely that white belly and the patterns to me look different. I don't think the mountain zebra also have a shadow stripe, so it's mainly that white belly, slightly longer ears, and of course the habitat in which they occur in, which can help you to differentiate the two species. Looks like our kudu friend has finished having his drink. Probably go and rest up under a shady tree or continue browsing. So it's quite cool. The kudu and inyala are very similar in the habitat that they like to occur in. So very much browsers hanging out in very thick areas. Let's have a scan, see what else is out there today, folks. Lots of zebra today, which is pretty cool. Very cool to see so many zebra out and about. Still looking very dry here in Madikwe. I know they're desperate for some rains. Maybe some elephants will come down for a mud bath later. We had some baboons here recently. Oh, we've got a little common moorhen down here. Nice to see some baboons here the other day. Oh, you can see that mud. Oh, that I can't imagine anything worse than being stuck in mud like that at this time. Little black crake. Really cool little bird. Love those red legs and the little yellow bill of his. Also bright colored eye. They're very busy birds, I must say. They're always up to something. Always up to something. That tail of theirs always moving. So Brenda is asking if I've ever had a bad experience with guests and how did you handle it? Oh, so yeah, Brenda, you definitely do learn a lot about people and how to manage different kinds of nationalities as well as different kinds of people while guiding. So yeah, I've been guiding for almost 8 years now, and yeah, you definitely get thrown with a lot of interesting curveballs that make you very adaptable to dealing with lots of different situations. So for me, I think it's most difficult is when you have guests that don't listen to you. Because, yeah, at the end of the day, when you go on safari, your guides are there not just to share information, but also to actually protect you and against wild animals and protect you in the natural environment, which some people can feel quite uncomfortable when they are in the bush. Might be very qualified in their particular fields, but when you come to have a safari in Africa, it is a completely different environment and your guides are there to look after you. So for me, that's probably, I'd say, the most challenging is when you have clients that don't want to listen to you and you say, don't go climbing on that little bank. There could be a crocodile there. And next thing, whoops, oh, they're stepping right on top of a crocodile. So yeah, we try our very best to avoid these kind of situations and yeah, learn to be very politically correct in a lot of interesting situations. So because I mean, if I had no idea, I wouldn't guess. Unless I knew there were crocodiles here, it's hard to believe that there are actually crocodiles here. So, the last thing you'd want to do is step on a crocodile. This guy looks like he's having a very good nap in the sun. Having a very relaxing Tuesday, which I hope the rest of our viewers are having a great Tuesday today. Manic Monday is over. We're heading into the week for Tuesday, and yeah, shucks, tomorrow's hump day already. Can you believe it? And we are already in October. Happy 1st of October, everybody. All the best for the rest of the year. I can't believe we only have a few months left of 2025. Our wildebeest obviously are, yeah, taking it easy. Probably had a good drink already and just kind of relaxing for the day. It's quite cool, these youngsters. There was a few youngsters that we were watching earlier down by the mud. They're also in this group. Young animals are always interesting to watch, I must say. Alrighty, so we're just enjoying watching these animals here. It's lovely to see the wildebeest. Lots of wildebeest here at Tau Lodge over in Madikwe. Seem to be a lot of zebra here today as well. The plain zebra or common zebra. Used to be birch or zebra, but I think now it's the plains zebra. Coming down for a drink. No elephants today as well, which is quite strange. But again, elephants do have their own program, so they're probably on their own missions. There's been a couple resident bulls that have been hanging out at Tower Lodge here the last couple of days, and really been enjoying, all the mud, all the greenery, and been lovely watching them up close and personal, playing and getting up to nonsense. So we've got another question. Thanks for your question, Brenda, asking about if crocodiles get poached quite a lot. So crocodiles are mostly on the least concerned list. So I know even in some areas like the Olifants River, there are some areas that are even overpopulated with crocodiles. So crocodiles populations, I wouldn't say are... Oh, we've got an elephant coming to join us. Hello, Mr. Elephant. We were just wondering where all the elephants were. Oh, shame, you must have had an irritated eye. So crocodiles are not really of much of a concern when it comes to their vulnerability or their status. But I do know in West Africa, the dwarf crocodiles are being poached quite a lot within that area. Obviously, lots of crocodile parts are used medicinally and traditionally. But yeah, as for the Nile crocodile, I know they are of least concern. But the poor, for example, slender snouted crocodile, West African crocodile, and dwarf crocodile are being poached quite a lot over in West Africa. So nice to see some elephants joining us today. This elephant seems to have a bit of an irritation in his eye. He keeps picking up some dust and kind of blowing it into his eye there. So a bit of an understanding on crocodiles and why people might poach crocodiles. So crocodiles do play quite a big part in human culture. So crocodiles for many years have been worshipped as holy creatures. And in some religions, crocodiles were actually hunted for their meat. Obviously, crocodile tail is a very sought after meat. And also their skins are very valuable. So apart from being used for food, a lot of kind of parts of the crocodile, I know these places in South Africa that are actually using the crocodile fat to make oil, which is also used to treat a lot of skin ailments. Again, please don't take my word on that. That's just it's not scientifically proven, but people are using the oil from crocodile skin to actually treat themselves. I know my grandmother actually buys some crocodile oil extract or something from where is it, Messina area. I know there's a lot of people that are commercially selling it quite a lot, and it is known to cure a lot of skin ailments. Again, I am not 100% on that. Please don't take my word for it. But yeah, the first kind of time that crocodiles were recorded to be used commercially was actually in America in the 1800s. And that's where they were actually used for using the skin to make clothes and footwear, belts, saddles, and all kinds from the alligators. A lot of crocodile farms obviously scattered throughout Africa, where they do actually produce a lot of skin, which is then sold to China and other countries, and it's very valuable. So the big crocodile farm industry kind of started in the 1960s and 1970s. I think CITES has created a few appendixes which do regulate these crocodile farms. But yeah, crocodiles, the Nile crocodiles, definitely of least concern when it comes to all the crocodiles. Lots of processing of crocodile skin, unfortunately. Nope, our elephant didn't seem to stay for very long. Anything else out there today? Yep, looks like there we go. There's our zebras having a dust bath. So dust bathing is quite an important part of not just for mammals but also for birds. So birds also love to dust bath, and again, it really helps. Can one help to cool them down on a hot day? Two can help to kind of coat their skin with a bit of a protective layer. In order to protect them from insects, but also, like with birds, it can help to reduce the amount of excess oil on their feathers. It's all part of grooming themselves. Shame these zebra don't look very enthusiastic about their day. They're probably wondering about how far is it to get to the next open area where they can find some grass. There's probably a harem here. I'm trying to see which is the stallion. So often the stallion will kind of be on the outside of the herd. Sometimes easier to identify. There's more elephants roaming around. It's like a young bull. And he looks like he also got his feet a little bit muddy down at the watering hole. We've got one zebra that's very intently staring into the bushes. I wonder if there's a predator around. Sometimes these young bulls can be a little bit testy, full of nonsense. Haven't quite grown into themselves yet, and when young elephant bulls start coming into musk the first few times, it can be quite an overwhelming amount of testosterone running through their bodies. So they, sometimes don't quite know how to handle all of this testosterone. But once they become older and mature, that's why the older bulls, even if they're in musk, sometimes they are, kind of settled into their age and are not as grumpy. So Sandy Franklin 69 is asking about when you go on safari, can you get out of your vehicle in some places? See, there's our young bull giving us some attitude. So Sandy, most reserves have a strict policy on game drives and only staying in the vehicle. So most national parks, obviously, you do have to stay in your vehicle. There are kind of designated areas at possibly at watering holes that might have a hide, or specific areas that are designated where you can get out of your vehicle at viewing points. But often most national parks, it's very limited to where you can actually get out of your vehicle. On private reserves, it's a lot nicer in some regards. Depending on the policies, you can actually as long as you have a rifle with you and a professional guide, you will be allowed to kind of do a game drive. If you see something cool, get out, go and walk. But of course, this is only in maybe private reserves where they do have a walking policy. Like Mobula, for example, I know a lot of the game drives that they do there, the guides will kind of just bumble along and maybe go keep a lookout. If they see any cheetah, they can actually get out the car with a rifle and a private guide and follow the cheetah off the vehicle. So yeah, it's really cool that you can do that. I do know in Mana pools they. Oop, look at this elephant. He seems a bit nervous. What is he nervous about here? So yeah, Mana pools they did used to have a policy where self-driving people could actually get out of their vehicle and walk, but this was. Oh, look at this. What? What's happening here? Seems like this elephant's being a bit lazy. I'm trying to chew on this bark of this branch. How strange is that? See, he'll now use his foot as a leverage in order to break off the branch. So I think it's an acacia tree that these elephants have pushed down. Now they're all feeding on the bits and pieces of leftover bark that's still remaining. Oh, there we go. So yeah, Mana pools, but they used to have a policy where self-drive people could get out of their vehicles and walk, but this was having a negative effect on the wild dog dens in the area, as people would just walk straight up to the den sites, and that can make them wild dogs vulnerable to predation. So I know that that rule has been lifted, so now no people are allowed to walk in the national park anymore in Mana pools, which I think is a very good thing because it was having negative effects on the wildlife, which of course is always our number one priority, is protecting the wildlife in an area, preserving and protecting so that these animals have a safe place to live. This tree has definitely been a place of interest for a lot of animals the last couple of days. A lot of elephants have been feeding on this pushed over acacia tree. So they don't seem to be too interested in the actual. It's just the bark from this tree that they're pretty much quite interested in, stripping off that delicious bark and feeding on the bark there. Alrighty, folks. Well, while we leave our elephant to get up to his mischief endeavors, why don't we head over to one of our other locations and see if we can find some more elephants? Seems like our elephants are still here over at Okukuyu. They haven't moved off too quickly, so nice. Or it could be another herd that's come in. And some of these elephants are seeking refuge in the shade, which is nice to see. The elephant's still around. Bit of a trumpet earlier. Shame, it must be a rather warm day in Namibia. These elephants are like, oh, where are we going to go next? What are we going to do? Some of them are giving a bit of a sniff in the air. You can hear some common bulbuls calling as well, close to the camera. Trying to have a scan. Looks like some more elephants in the background there. I'd love to see a jackal coming and roaming around, or it could be cool to see something running also in the distance there. Don't see any giraffe. Beautiful scenery. What a beautiful scene is this. We've also got our two little Egyptian geese. One looks like he's grooming himself just on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. What a lovely day it is to be an elephant. I wouldn't want a pool party today in Johannesburg, though, if I was an elephant. That's definitely a bit too cold. There's a chilly, nippy feel in the weather, in the air. Actually seen these elephants chasing springbok out of this water. The watering hole before was really crazy. Poor little springbok didn't know what was happening to him. He just wanted to come for a nice cool dip. Next thing he had a little baby elephant chasing him out of the watering hole, and got a very pregnant female. The third elephant from the left. Yeah, very pregnant. Big. She looks like she's going to pop sometime soon. Alrighty, folks. It's been a lovely day here live at the waterhole. So we've got one of our little elephants coming to say goodbye, giving us a bit of a rev. But I hope you have a fabulous International Coffee Day and 1st of October. Wishing you all the best for the next month. I will be off live at the waterhole for some time, so I'll probably only be catching you next month live at the waterhole. And yeah, all the best to all of our locations. I'm wishing them all the best of luck for their sightings, especially Mabula as well and Juma. Have a lovely day, folks, from me and the rest of the Wild Earth crew, wishing you a fabulous 1st of October and happy coffee day.